All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll just go right to questions. Got an exciting top 10 matchup with the Oregon Ducks here this week, so we're excited for Friday night.
Last time you guys went to the West Coast, you can change your schedule. Obviously, it's going to be different here the Friday. What are you doing different, or what are you adjusting after Cal?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about, okay, well, we lost to Cal, so we got to change everything, right? I mean, it's a zero-sum game. You win, you lose. You're going to do what's best for your football team. You're going to look at all the data. You're going to dissect that, and I think Garrett Chernoff and his staff done a really good job putting a plan together, and it's very, very similar. There are a few tweaks here and there, but it's not a reactionary tweak. It's just based on schedule, time, place, all those things to give ourselves the best chance to be ready to go. Coming off a bye week, the preparation this week during our practice schedules, how we're practicing this week's different than what we did against Cal. So giving ourselves the best chance to go out and play our best football of the year.
With the road struggles, are there any changes in just process with the way you've approached it heading out to Oregon?
1-0. We're just looking to be 1-0. Home, away. I mean, it's not about that. It's about playing your best football. I mean, we played some really good football at home. On the road, I mean, we played some really good teams on the road as well. So we just got to find a way to be a little bit better each week and be a little more attention to detail in the things that we do, especially in our preparation to go out there and play our best game of the year. And that's the focus, whether it's here, whether it's in Eugene, Oregon. You got to find a way in November to play your best football.
What did you want to accomplish during the bye week, and how do you feel your team responded?
Yeah, there were three things we talked about. One, we wanted to find a way as best we possibly can to get our guys healthy, mentally, physically, and emotionally. I mean, it's not just the physical piece. When you get to November, it's the mental piece, it's the emotional piece. There's a lot of demand on student athletes from a lot of different areas. So I thought we were able to accomplish that. Two, it was kind of a process audit, to your question, Ryan, just looking at what we do and how we do it, like we do every bye week, but really diving into that and giving it the audit that it deserves. And then three, just respond and have a really good week of practice. And I thought our guys did a tremendous job of that. Got a lot of young guys reps. We got after it last week with a lot of the young guys. They got a ton of reps to gain more experience. And then I thought our veterans did a really nice job of the time that we scheduled in for practice. And then this week, again, a little bit different of a schedule than a normal week, but it's been really good for our players, and I thought yesterday's practice was outstanding.
Did the Friday week with Nebraska help just from a process standpoint? Is it similar that way?
You know what, a little bit, but it's a little different based on when it's happening and what your football team looks like, but it's pretty similar. But this week's a little bit different than it was the Nebraska week, coming off the bye week. So that's the main difference, that you had the bye week prior to it, and put ourselves in a position to hopefully be as healthy as possible. You know, you're never going to be completely healthy when you get to November, but doing everything we can to get as many guys back as we possibly can. Some will be back, some won't.
Played the number one total defense already in Ohio State. Now you get to take on the number two, that is Oregon. What makes them so difficult defensively?
And what's Iowa? Top five?
Top 10.
Three top five defenses. When you play a team like Oregon, one, they have incredible talent. I think Dan Lanning's done a tremendous job of accumulating elite talent. I think that's well documented. But I think that when you talk about having talent alone doesn't really get you anything. There's a lot of teams that are really, really talented. We talk about the difference between skill and talent. Skill is what you're born with, blessed with, and the length and the size and the speed and all those things. That's great. But then you have to develop that talent. Then you got to connect that talent. And I think Dan Lanning doesn't get enough credit of how he connects that football team, how invested they are, how good they are, how well they play collectively together, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We know he's a really good defensive mind. He's a great person. He's a great coach. But when you're talking about the defensive side of the ball, they have incredible talent over there. But it's one thing to have it, another thing to connect it, have them all play together, have them all understand how the top affects the bottom affects the top. And they're really, really talented. I mean, you talk about, Ohio State's front seven. I mean, this front seven is just as good, if not better. And when you look at them and you look at, what the game looked like with Iowa, I think everybody understood, what kind of matchup that was going to be, and it was exactly what everybody thought it was going to be. And, we played some really good defenses, but it makes you do a lot of the really, really small things really, really well. And when we do the small things really well, and we have attention to detail within the fundamentals, and we plug it into the scheme, and then we can do it under the pressure of the situation, we play really well. When we don't do that, we don't play well. So we've got to continue to get more consistent as the year goes on, and Oregon presents a lot of challenges, whether it's the front seven or the back end. I mean, they're deep at every position. They're good at every position. I mean, really, really good. They don't have many flaws, that's for sure.
We've seen Drake step up in clutch moments. Michigan State obviously was the latest example. What's been instrumental in how he's been able to go about that?
Yeah, I think with Drake, we all knew this was going to be a growing year. You're always growing, you're always developing, you're always getting better. But I said this a long time ago after, I think, week 3, and I said, when you make a decision as a head football coach to play a freshman, I don't care if it's true freshman, redshirt freshman, young player, inexperienced player, especially at the key position in football, you understand there's going to be some really, really highs, there's going to be some low lows. But I think Drake has handled and responded really well to all of them. They're really good, they're really hard. He grows, he can't wait to learn more. He's like a sponge, and you really can't tell after a loss or a win. His response mechanisms are built in. It's a credit to his family. It's a credit to his high school coaches, but it's also a credit to his work ethic of what he does within our culture. And I just love what he's been able to do. I thought, there were some inconsistencies throughout the entire year, but there's been a lot of really good things that he's done. But that's part of the growing and the maturation process of a young quarterback. You look at that Michigan State game, there was some really, really good, and there was some really tough. And then when we needed him the most, he came through. He's done that a lot this year. He's played really well and then maybe inconsistent at times, and then bang, when we needed him the most, he was there. And that's what you see from the high school state champion, the resolve, the resiliency, the fight. He's scrappy now. I know he might not be this dual threat, runner, but he thinks he is. Now he's got 5 rushing touchdowns on the year. I don't know if we can consider him dual threat yet, but I like to joke around with him with that way. But he's a special kid. He really is, and he's working his tail end off, just like the rest of our football team. Playing a lot of young players and guys that are gaining experience every single time they go out there and play, and Drake's leading the charge in that.
Seems like he responds well to tempo too. What have you seen with that, and kind of is that something you might incorporate a little bit more?
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I think the team responds to how you change things up, whether it's tempo, whether you slow it down. You're looking for something to kind of change the flow of the game a little bit. There's been times we sped it up and haven't had success. So I don't think it's just that, but we're doing that to get him into a little bit of a rhythm. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't worked. And the flow of the game dictates that, of what that looks like. Sometimes we can start with it, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we had success with it, sometimes we haven't. But it's definitely something we have in the bag that can definitely help us.
What challenges does Dante Moore present?
What does he don't? What does he not have that presents tons of challenges? I mean, he's one of the most dynamic players in all of college football. I think that's pretty easy to tell, well documented. He's very, very poised. I mean, you saw that on the last drive against Iowa. I think you saw a lot of Big Ten quarterbacks handle the pressure of the situation tremendously, whether their team won or lost. I think you saw that this past weekend in the Big Ten. Quarterbacks really stepping up. Again, whether they won or lost, I mean, you even look at the quarterback from Iowa, the way he stepped in and stepped up and got that last touchdown, and then Dante Moore comes down and leads his team down to what they needed to do to win the game with the field goal. I mean, but he's truly incredibly poised. You could tell that the team really responds well to him. As you could tell, he's the leader of the offense. No situation too big for him, whether it's with his legs or his arm. He's just dynamic. He really is. Really, really accurate passer, but understands pocket awareness. Moves really well in the pocket. Good arm angles. Very accurate passer. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country for a reason. So we've got to play incredibly sound defense. We've got to be able to shrink that pocket. We've got to stick to our men and really make sure we don't create a lot of space on the back end because he'll find it. And they've got people who can run on the outside and create space and separation, and that helps them out as well as a really strong offensive line and tight ends and really, really good run game. So besides that, I mean, I don't know what issues you're talking about, Randy.
What might change when their skill or their pass catchers, or you don't know who might be out there?
I don't know if it matters, Andy, to be honest. Like, when you look at their roster and you look at the top 6 wideouts, they're all phenomenal. So whether they're missing one or two of them, I mean, the other guys this past week stepped in, stepped up. It didn't matter the conditions. They do a really good job of attacking the ball, catching the ball out in front. Really strong pass catchers, creating space. understanding when to be body catchers and when to be able to, go up and get it with your hands. I mean, they're really talented. They create separation better than anybody. Maybe as good as the guys from Ohio State, being able to create separation. Now, I think the two guys at Ohio State are phenomenal. I mean, it was easy to tell against us, but they're probably looking at our film going, okay, we're going to be able to create some stuff, but we got to play our best football on defense, that's for sure. And it all starts up front, and then our guys on the back end doing their job. So it's a great, great challenge for us, that's for sure, but got a lot of respect for the talent they have and the type of offense that they run.
You guys lead the Big Ten in sacks, yet takeaways on the other side
Yeah.
have been tougher to come by. How do you view being so disruptive up front and getting the sacks, getting home, but also on the other side of the coin with 78%, not being able to generate the takeaways from those?
Yeah, I mean, the ball's everything, right? Sometimes you can look at a sack and then they punt, and you can kind of look at that as a takeaway. I think sometimes we're getting more and more sacks, which are allowing them not to just throw the ball up where we can get a takeaway. You want to get takeaways, as many as you possibly can, and we're not getting enough, that's for sure. But on the back end, we're creating a lot of second and longs, third and longs. We just got to be even better at creating punts after those. Too many times we're getting first downs and create a turnover in a punt form, because if they're going to be really smart and take the sack, because they can force it, they can run out there with the ball loose, and they're doing a really good job when they are taking sacks of protecting the football for the most part. But our guys got to get after the football when we're able to get pressure on the quarterback, and then if the quarterback makes a decision, throw it up, we got to go get it. But that's something that we're not doing anything wrong. I don't look at that, Andy, as I break or Ryan, when I break it down. Like when I peel back the onion, I'm not looking at it and saying, we're doing something bad or something wrong. They're getting after it. I mean, we're punching at the ball when we tackle. I mean, when they throw it to us, we're catching it. But we're getting a lot of sacks on the back end too. So, those will come. We just got to continue to control what we can control. Continue to play elite defense. Continue to put pressure on the quarterback. Get after the ball, and eventually they'll start coming out.
One or two more for Coach?
Devin had probably his best game of the year. What went into that?
Yeah, I think he's had a really good year. I don't know if it's just his best game of the year. I think he continues to change his best, and I do agree with you. It was a really good game, but he has just continued to be dedicated, doing the unrequired work. I mean, you talk about full commitment. I mean, Devin has been that way all season long. And you talk about somebody who's grown up and matured within the culture and the program. Devin deserves a lot of credit. Even the NFL scouts come in here and they're like, all right, who's this guy? You look at his tackles and you look at his productivity. Devin's figured it out. And everybody figures it out at different times. And they grow up at different times. They mature at different times. They have an aha moment at different times. And Devin's done a really good job of really playing at a high level. So, I'm just really proud of him and what he's been able to do. And, he's got a ton of tackles right now. You're talking about Devin Williams?
I was talking about Eastern. But
Oh, shoot. I thought you were talking about – we got multiple Devins.
Yeah, that was my fault.
But listen, Devin Williams has been awesome. So who else you want to talk about? Devin Eastern? We'll just go through all the Devins. We'll cover just like Prince, one name, Devin. But no, Devin Eastern, he just got to continue to keep working on his pad level, playing really low. Because when he plays low and he plays explosive, plays with his hands are out in front, brings his hips with him, he's one of the best in the country. He's pretty unblockable. There are times, you'd love to be able to have two Devin Easterns or three Devin Easterns, and you can rotate them in there and keep them really, really fresh. But he's known that he's going to have to play 50, 60 snaps this year per game, and I think he's excelled. Played one of his best games, as you mentioned. He loves football. Ever since we brought him here, he loves football. He loves being on that football field. And same thing, the maturation process happens at different times. He's really taken on that leadership role of the D-line, really answered the bell that way. There's a lot of young players in there. And it's been fun to watch him kind of go from the guy who you had to lead to the guy that now is leading. It's been fun to watch that, because if you would have told me 4 years ago that's how it would look, I might have sat there and said, wow, we got a really long way to go. But he deserves a lot of credit because he's grown up an awful lot. And I think you see that on the field with his productivity and the importance to him that he has success and that he leads the guys around him.
Everyone all set?
All right. See everybody in Eugene. Thanks for coming. Row the boat, Sky Mile, go Gophers.